Hi guys, welcome to the Ask the Officer online, and today we've got like all officers in, unlike last time, which it was only me. So we're gonna, like usual, we're gonna ask all of our officers, including me, some questions, and we'll also give you an opportunity to just like, talk about stuff, talk about what you want to talk about, drop a comment, ask any questions, and yeah. So I think to start off, guys, you know, it's I think your first time, Olivia and Priscilla, being on Ask the Officer as an officer, and so I think I should be asking the initial question from all three of you. What's the most recent thing you guys have worked on, just to keep our students like up to date. I'm going to ask you is like something I know you guys have been deeply involved in and deeply worked on, and have done like so much great stuff. And so to start off with, Tabitha, you've done like some really amazing work with Black History Month. Can you share with the students like what it you know what you've been up to, what's the progress, what's happening now, what can they expect?
Yeah, definitely. October is always an exciting month because I think Adil already said it's Black History Month, and the last couple of years the university has been marking Black History Month in various ways, and this year was no different. So we've had several things happening on campus, and still a few yet to happen. So we are going to have our show, The Races in the Red Card, and I think you can see behind Adil and Olivia, you can see the show Races in the Red Card placards at the back. So that's tomorrow, which is always an exciting time. So if you're on campus, please come in red. If you're not on campus, you can tweet and post and also donate towards racism education throughout the UK. So that's one of the things that's currently happening for Black History Month. Apart from that, we've been doing amazing spotlights of students of color who've been doing amazing things. Our first one was of our own VP GSPS Priscilla. So if you haven't read that yet, that's something you can find on our social media platforms. Then last week we had SA, who's an amazing alumni who's doing great things to tackle the issues around HIV and AIDS and being a black person, a queer black person in the UK. So amazing things happening. So there's two more spotlights to look forward to for this week and the last week of Black History Month, which is next week. So look out and see which other amazing student or alumni will be featuring in the next few weeks. And also we're having an event on the 27th of October, which is a Wednesday at 6:30 in M137. That's George Moore building. And we'll just be having an event in collaboration with our LGBT plus group and Hidayah, which is a charity in the UK, to have a talk about the experience of Black and Brown queer people in the 80s versus now, and what has changed, what has become better, and what still needs to be worked on. So there's a lot of fantastic things happening, and that's just to name a few.
That's really amazing, and I have to admit I'm still yet to look at the interview you and Priscilla did. I've heard some really amazing feedback about it, but I still need some chance, a time to like go back and like listen to the interview. So I'll get back to you on that, Priscilla and Tabitha. And so Priscilla, if I'm correct in saying you chaired your first Sage meeting yesterday, would you like to share with us how was your experience and how did you find it and how do you plan on taking Sage forward? Because and we've had discussions on this as well, and how we want to see Sage going forward and what's the importance of Sage, and tell us about like Sage itself. Why should it be important for the students?
Yeah, thank you, Adil. Well, my experience yesterday as my first chairing for Sage was, it was good. I liked it, even though at the beginning it was a bit, shaky, but we blended into it and it was a very good one. And thanks to almost all the academic reps that came on yesterday were new, so not everybody was really, you know, talking, but then they really did well. Everybody said what they needed to say concerning all the issues that were brought to stage yesterday. So basically, and in all fairness, yesterday's sage meeting went well. For what we are planning to do with Sage, it's a platform where you have to bring, you bring everything that has to do with the academic issues with students, and then we'll all see if it's something that needs to be approved, or something that doesn't need to be approved. It's very important because there are a lot of things that has to do with students, and academics that needs to really be scrutinized by students themselves. And that's why SAGE is important. They are the ones that wears the shoe and they know where it hurts. So it's important for those issues to be brought to SAGE and, for it to be scrutinized so that things don't get bad or worse than they are already. So, that's just the importance. That's why it's really important that things that affect students be brought to SAGE.
That's amazing, and I think we all think that you did a wonderful job at chairing at the meeting, and I think it was a really good, informative, productive discussion on how the students issues, how the students want to shape up the policies and academic practices at the university, and yeah, it was amazing to see all the discussion that was happening. So let's go to Olivia now, and Olivia was the lead on freshers, and I think all the students would agree, like what such an amazing freshers, how it went with all the events that we had. I actually had students approaching me from some of the other institutions as well, and talking positively a lot about what we did, and which was amazing to hear. So Olivia, well done on that. But would you like to share how was your experience being the lead this year for freshers, and what was required in the role, and what happened in during freshers, if you could just give a brief.
Yeah, so freshers this year was obviously challenging. This is the first freshers where we could have had something in person again since COVID, with last year being completely online. But we wanted to make sure that we still had the ability of the online option for any student that maybe wasn't able to attend or was, too anxious to be in crowds again, or for any immunocompromised students. So it was really working to get that balance between enough online and in-person activities. I think the events, both online and offline, were really well received. I had a lot of students saying that they really enjoyed being around people again and being kind of in that student feeling. And there were quite a few events that definitely are something that I think would be great to consider for other points of the trimester, because things like the pottery painting, for example, was sold out, and students are still telling me that that was the best event that was held. So it was really great. It was really great events lined up for the week, and it was really fun to plan. Challenging but fun.
That's amazing, and I think I found as I think all of us would agree, as officers, it was really interactive, really engaging as well. Being in an online environment, again, coming back to what you just mentioned, Olivia, about the initial chance we got to engage with the students, and just interacting and like communicating. So just while we're on that, I think it's a good question for for us to be asking ourselves is how are we finding being back on campus. And just before we start answering those questions, I just want to tell the students, if you've got any question, any comment, any questions, or just want to ask anything, or want to talk about something, just feel free to drop a comment. So how do you guys, and that's a question for all, how do you guys find being back on campus? I know me and Tabitha have worked in an online environment for a whole year. So but you guys as well, Priscilla and Olivia, because you just started off in this role this year, how was the transition for you, and how are you finding like being back on campus? We'll reverse the whole thing, starting off with Olivia.
Yeah, so I started the role from home. So coming into campus, which was the first day of freshers, actually, I think it was definitely interesting. It felt like starting the job again because I had the kind of on-campus nerves. So I really feel for students that have had to start their degree from home and are now kind of coming onto campus for the first time. I completely understand how that feels like, and the nerves that they feel, because I definitely had that myself. But in terms of working, it's great to be around people again, and it's great to meet the colleagues that I'm actually having to speak with on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's weird when you see a colleague for the first time. I think that was something that we were just discussing today. When you see somebody like for the first time after meeting them online, you realize how tall they are, their height. You realize they've got arms, they've got legs. It seems quite weird at times, but yeah, we've all had those interactions. So Tabitha.
Yeah, no, I think it's been good. As you said, we've already had the year of working in an online environment, and that was in itself challenging. And trying to engage with students and working through the pandemic, which none of us knew how it end, if it was even going to end, and all that. So it was very, very interesting, and I think not what we signed up for when we ran for elections, because we ran for elections when the world was still the then normal, and it was challenging, but it's been nice to be on campus. It's been nice to interact with students. It adds that layer of bumping into somebody and just being able to solve a problem and not having to send an email and waiting for days and days and days before it gets responded to. So it's been really, really good being on campus, seeing the campus slowly become more vibrant and busy, and people actually wanting to get engaged more in some of the stuff we've been doing. So it's been an exciting time. Hopefully, we get to be on campus even more.
Yeah, I was going to say bumping into someone like me, and Olivia bumped into you today.
Yep. I know, and it's so easy to get just something done.
Yeah, definitely. Priscilla. Oh, I think Priscilla froze for a second.
And
Priscilla, can you hear us? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Is it better now? Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So for me, it's been really good because I'm coming in as both a new student and a new officer. You understand? So even coming on campus for the first time, it felt new to me. Thanks to Tabitha, one day that kind of took me around. I really didn't know anywhere, and then seeing people for the first time, like I said, I mean, it's really good seeing someone, and I'm like, is this the person I've been? I can't even recognize you. So it's good talking to people, talking to students, like Tabitha said, bumping into them and solving their problem. I want to go somewhere here, solving their problems. So I even kind of went to some PG classes to talk to them about students association and how we are there for them, and comparing it to doing the shout outs online. I kind of felt better. I could see people's expression, and it made me feel better talking to them. Unlike the one online, I don't know what they are thinking. I don't know if they could even hear me. So I mean, it's really good being on campus.
Yeah, definitely. I think because I remember, because the campaigning we did was like in a face-to-face environment, and when you talk to the students, in a lecture hall, for example, you see the expressions, you see the reactions, you see them cheering, being happy. So it's much more like lively, it's much more fun. And I always did miss that because nobody asked me the question. I'll answer myself. But I kind of miss that as well. In an online environment, you don't really have that going on. You kind of just like stare at the screen and for the whole day, and then you have to just be on your screen for hours and hours, and it's really not the same. But whereas if you've got, for example, a meeting which is like face to face, it's much more meaningful, it's lively, you've got more discussions going on, more productive. So I think to me personally as well, that's something that I really, really enjoy, being on campus, and like what Tabitha and Olivia said, just being across people, just randomly walking by, and you know finding somebody, and just being a random hi. I think that's an element that I've always kind of missed as well. And now that we're back on campus, it really feels like you're an officer, if that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure that's the same for students as well, because now they get the feeling of being in a university environment, getting that student experience. And so yeah, and I think we're expecting, hopefully, it's nothing confirmed from now, but like we're expecting to see like more on campus stuff going on. But also trying to see like how we can further support the people that that have so benefited so much from the online learning environment. So yeah, that's really good to hear from, and I think the student officers would really appreciate hearing from the officers, and how they think about this, and what they've been up to. So just while we're on that subject, what have you guys been up to, like in the past, couple of days, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks? Like what are the things that you guys have been doing? That can be something you're trying to do within your school. I know Olivia is working on the student partnership agreement, and having the conversation going with the university. And Tabitha is really involved with the Black History Month and a lot of stuff in the university as well. And Priscilla, the SAGE stuff that you're already doing some amazing work in. But what else is there in the in your schedule that you've done in the past few days? And we'll start off by Tabitha.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things have been happening. I think just to name the obvious elephant in the room is COP26. So we've been doing a lot of planning for COP26 around what we'll do as an association. And just to welcome COP26, we're doing a Go Green Week, which starts next week. And we'll be offering around 40 students carbon literacy training. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, please get it soon because it's quickly selling out. I think there's only one more session left that's not fully booked. So if you're still interested in getting carbon literacy training, do get in touch with myself or any of the other officers, or just go to our website and be able to get connected. And there's also lots happening for COP26. So look out for the comms that should be coming out during the end of the week. So Friday or Monday next week, if you're interested in anything that's happening. But on top of that, I'm currently working with the School of Health and Life Sciences, which I'm the VP for, on stuff to do with equality, diversity, and inclusivity, which I recently found out isn't even a word. So inclusivity is almost a made-up word. I had no idea because I've used it so many times. But looking forward to creating safe spaces within the School of Health, and particularly training our doctors, our nurses, our psychologists, our social workers, and any other person within the School of Health in going into the NHS or the community to serve, just to learn in an environment that is equitable for everyone, and learning the importance of having equality and diversity within our department. So we've been having workshops, which one started yesterday actually. So we had our first workshop yesterday talking about what some of our departments can do better in terms of recruitment, creating safe spaces for students within the department, and just being able to increase their diversity even in staff and student recruitment, and just creating a safe space for all students, and also working towards the anti-racist curriculum, which is something that is being done widely throughout the whole university.
That's amazing. Thanks for telling us all of that. And some of the things, of course, we already know because we have those discussions together, all four of us. And so let's go to Olivia.
Work that I've kind of been doing for the past few weeks, mainly right now that Freshers is done, I've been working on helping the university achieve the Mental Health Charter Award. So that is working with Health and Wellbeing Services, speaking about the ways that the Students' Association and the university can work together to kind of help health and well-being be more involved within the curriculum, and also the ways that we can identify areas that students feel need improvement and the ways that they can get support from that. Similarly, on the Students' Association side, looking at the ways that we can support our volunteers, give them all the necessary resources that they need to do their best job and to feel like they have someone they can turn to if they want to speak about something in more detail. I've also been working with the university and the Students' Association on an academic misconduct campaign, just to help raise more awareness to students on what academic misconduct actually is, especially now that students are learning online and there are different ways of accidentally committing academic misconduct. So bringing more awareness on not only what to avoid and what to do, but also where you can find resources to specifically help you, whether that is that you're an international student and your code of student conduct has been different in a previous body of education, you can turn to your international lead in your school, or whether it's just that you've not had experience with academic writing before and you can turn to library resources or on the GCU Go webpage. So it's just kind of the working to highlight ways that students can kind of better educate themselves on remaining academically honest.
That's really amazing. And I know for the supporting students with that are new, international students, for example, you raise really good points with the university regarding providing more support to these kinds of students who maybe vulnerable from, for plagiarism or, ghostwriting or, contract cheating. So that's amazing work. What about you, Priscilla?
Yeah, so basically in the past few weeks, I've really been working on careers and employability with the GCU careers team. We realized that despite the fact that there are lots of jobs out there, for one reason or the other, students are still not having the jobs. They are still having issues with employability. So because of that, prior to the main major careers fair that we had yesterday, I mean, we're planning for the careers fair, and eventually we had it yesterday. But prior to it, we had a careers live session just to make students know that it's not only about academics. We are also concerned about their careers and their employability. So that's what I've been working on for the past few weeks. And also with GSBS, we realized that for some reason or the other, students don't engage with the LDC, and students still have academic issues. So what we are working on is a kind of support that would better students to use the LDC, or just to make sure students don't have academic issues, especially those that are just coming in for the first time, because there is this kind of lower percentage in doing so well in the first diet for students that are just coming in, for both direct entry students and new 100 level or PGT students. So what we are trying to do in GSBS is to curb this issue. So those are the things I've been up to.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think from being the VP GSBS last year as well, I think that the focus on like LDC is really important, and that goes for any school. Tabitha school, Olivia school, SHLS, SCABI, or like GSBS. It's really, LDC plays a really important role, and a lot of the students, unfortunately, are not really aware of the service. So that's always good to hear that more is being done in terms of that. So going forward, what so one more question I had about you guys is, what do you guys like about the role? And there may be things that you like, there may be things that you don't like, but what do you guys, what do you guys, one thing you guys like about the role, and one thing you guys think that you wish you could change for the role? And that could be anything, um, so yeah, let's start with Priscilla this time.
Well, I like a lot of things about the role, but since you said one thing, it's the fact that you can, you might not be able to solve some.
I think Priscilla's connection.
But just that feeling of a student coming to you and saying, "I have this issue." Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, you broke off for a second, Priscilla. I think we can hear you again.
Okay. So I said the feeling of a student coming to you and saying, "Oh, I have this issue," and you have issues, is something that makes me happy. It's something that I like in the role. But for something I don't like, what don't I like?
It can be
I think we
anything.
should skip that. I can't remember. I don't know what I do like. So let's skip that.
Okay. Well, Priscilla loves everything about the role. Priscilla thinks it's the best. It's the best. Okay. Let's go to Olivia.
Yeah, very similar to Priscilla. I really like that, if students come to me with an issue, and I'm helping them to kind of resolve that, I feel like I'm doing my job. I feel like I'm representing the students' opinions and ideas, and it's a very rewarding role. We've only been on campus, students have only been on campus for a couple of weeks, but already, dealing with various, student inquiries, it's really rewarding. But in terms of something that I wish I could change, I can't really think of anything. I'm the same as Priscilla, best role ever. Thing to change, maybe that I'm not at home anymore, so I don't have my kettle sitting right next to me. I need my coffee to get me running through the day. So
yeah, well, I think that's a good point. I think we all need more coffee. We were just having this conversation. I think I I had like the highest number of coffee I ever had in my life, and we had that trustee board meeting. I think I had like 4 cups of coffee, and yeah, I don't drink that much coffee. So Tabitha, on to you.
Yeah, I think the one thing I like about the role is actually seeing your ideas come to life. You know, when you're campaigning or when you get into the job and you choose your objectives and you actually see them coming to life and and being implemented within the university, I think that's the best part of the job. You know, particularly when you've been fighting so much for an idea or for some sort of change, be it a policy change or just a comms change or an organizational change or how different they do things within different departments of the university, and you actually see it come to life and become policy or it added to the strategy of the university. It's a proud moment. I think that's, for me, has been the best part of the role. And now I'm going to seem like I'm the bad one because I have something to complain because the last two didn't have anything to say. I think for me, it's the amount of papers you have to read. I think when you get into the role, I see heads shaking now. So Olivia and Priscilla now agree with me. But I think that the number of papers you have to read is the one thing I'll change, because sometimes you just get overwhelmed by so much information that you don't know what to do with. But overall, it is a good role.
Yeah, I can agree with the paper part as well. I think there are sometimes like way too many papers. In the past 3 days, I think I've read like almost 60 for trustee, and then like I don't even know 100 plus. So we could always use less papers. I think for me, what I like about the role is, I think it's similar to what you guys just mentioned. It's about the satisfaction, isn't it? You get a lot of like satisfaction, helping out students, talking to them, engaging with them, and when you get to know like the difference you're making, in people's lives, the impact you're creating, and when sometimes you've got to like, have these like talks, these some difficult talks, and make change happen, across the board. And I think that's what I really like, talking to the students and getting them involved as well. So I think that's what I really, really enjoy in the role. What I would say is like, in terms of like what I don't like, it's not really something that I don't like, but I think it's something that if it could be changed, it would have been, really, really helpful. Would be Sorry, I'm getting feedback. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry. I think it would be like, managing the meetings in a way where you've got like more time, because there would be some days where you'd have back-to-back meetings like all day, all day, from 9 a.m. to like, all the way to like 7-8 p.m. I think, having like a way where we could like get more time to interact with more students, you know what I mean? Engaging with them like in events or talking with them or like just kind of interacting with them. I think that's what I would really, prefer more. Not that I don't like the current meetings or something, but yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing from me. So we're gonna try to wrap this up, but I want to ask like all four of us, one message that we want to give to the students, and that could be anything. That doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be like a code that's going to be put on like GCU forever. It can be anything, anything you guys want the students to know, like a sentence or anything. So I'll start with Tabitha on this one.
Right. Quick thought. I think the most important thing is that remember that we're here to represent you as students. So if you're having any issues, please get in touch with us early enough before it becomes a bigger problem, because we are here to make sure that your student experience is as best as it can be.
Thank you. That's really amazing, Tabitha, and that's really true. Olivia?
Yep, just to sort of echo what Tabitha said, we are here to represent students. So, don't hesitate to email or reach out to one of us if you do need help. And also that there is a wellbeing bi-weekly newsletter that comes out, and it has different things in it, such as, how to keep yourself motivated, how to take care of your well-being and your mental health throughout different points in the trimester. So if that's something you think would benefit you, you can sign up to receive that on the GCU Health and Wellbeing website.
Thanks, Olivia, and that's amazing. Priscilla. Priscilla, can you hear us? Right. So I think I'll go next, and then Priscilla. Priscilla, are you back? Okay. So for me, I think one thing that I'd like to tell the students is to get more involved, and it's something similar to what you both have mentioned, Olivia and Tabitha, is to get more involved. Get more involved, have a say. If you don't like something that's happening in the university, reach out to us. If there's something you think we should seriously be like doing something about, if we should come together and act on it, we are a political organization, we are political officers, get in touch with us. We will run campaigns, and if it has to do something with, something that's a sectoral level, something that you really want to get accomplished, if there's something that you really want to see, changing in any context, get in touch with us. And I think something that all four of us are trying to do is like incorporate a culture of like activism, incorporating a culture of like raising your voice, raising your concerns, getting involved with the politics at the university. And I think all four of us really are looking forward to hearing from the students what they like, what they what they don't like, and what are the things they want to change, and then we can start working on how we change those things, how we work on campaigns, how we bring people together, mobilize our students, and incorporate that change that we want to see, regardless of like in what context, regardless of like in what specific area you want to see that change. So that's it for me. And Priscilla, I hope you can hear us now.
Yes, I can. Sorry about my network today.
Yeah, go on. What would be the message you'd want to tell the students today? Oh, I think we lost Priscilla again. Priscilla, can you hear us?
Oh no. Yes, I can hear you and I can see you all.
Just go
Can
for
you
it.
see me
Just
now?
go for it. Yeah. We can hear you though. So just go for it. One message that you'd
Okay,
like to.
okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, so people used to say that a problem shared is a problem half solved. So if you have any issues, don't hesitate to come out and say whatever you want. No matter how it looks, there is always a solution for it. So don't bottle it up. Try to come to any of us or the welcome desk, and you'll be directed to the wherever it is that your problem is solved. So that's it for me.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Priscilla, Tabitha, and Olivia. And that brings us to the close of today's session. And thanks to all the students who joined, who watched this, and thanks to the students who are gonna watch this later. But yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast. And see you guys later. Bye bye.